People like Grandmaster Boss and all those guys have helped me through it. For what they've taught me. They've trained me hard. They've pushed me hard. And they've kicked me up and down the place. You know? And they've picked me back up, slapped me in the back and said, come on, Mark. Give me that big hug. We're here. That's the comrades. That's it. That's it. Grandmaster Boss doesn't realise how much he's helped me through these years. When Grandmaster Hutton died and so on as well. You know, tough times. You know, guys like him you can turn to without turning to them.
Yeah.
Without phoning them all the time, well, just that he's there. You follow me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, Grandmaster McPhail in New Zealand, what a guy he is. I'm just saying that if you're an instructor as you should be, then you learn life skills and you can help people a whole lot more. Because the shiny medals you've got, and I've got a few of them, you know, you see them all over our academy, and my sons are already European and world champions. My God, that's incredible. But those medals will not keep them warm when the demons hit. They're training in Taekwondo, hopefully how their father set them out, because how my father set me out, he's my biggest influence in life.
Right.
That is what has helped me. I'm sure I'm way off track and do better.
No, it's fine. Talking about your dad being one of the influences, who's Uncle Gerard?
Yeah, my Uncle Gerard. My Uncle Gerard was only a couple of years older than me. So a lot of tragedy in my father's life. Lost his parents very, when I was only a few weeks old. Or Gerard, my father and his brothers and sisters lost their mum at 64. Lost their father only 2 years later. So there was an awful lot of very young siblings at that time. You know, so they went to live with different older siblings. Uncle Gerard came to us when he was 9 years old. Having already lived with my Uncle Pat and different people, my Uncle Eddie did the same with Uncle Pat. He came to us and he brought Bruce Lee with him. So this is 1975 or 6. So he brought Bruce Lee with him in the shape of 2 posters with the nunchaku sticks up from here, and one that was like, it was like this, and you see the slices and the abs. Oh my God in heaven, come on. So that was it. So he was the big massive influence of martial arts. But years later, Uncle Gerard, he's gone, God rest him. Very tough life. But years later, Uncle Gerard said to me, he says, you'll be world class one day, Mark. No chance. Who the hell? Absolutely no chance. You'll be world class one day, you'll be this, you'll be that. I could never see that happening. Very, very shy young man, could never see that happening. But, so why am I calling myself world class? Purely, if you won world medals multiple times, then this, that and next time, as an athlete, you were world class. You know, you'll reach this, you'll reach that. Never thought I could possibly do that. I just wanted to one day, hopefully, just get some grades behind me. If I could ever reach black belt, that would be the ultimate. So Uncle Jeb was a massive influence on me. Massive influence on me. And he died a few years ago, God rest him. And I never brought him here.
Oh.
And I don't fully know why.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, big influence. So God rest him. These are the people who, he never set foot on my dojang floor. He never actually saw me do Taekwondo properly. And yet he's one of the main reasons why I am where I am today. You know? So yeah, I pray to him quite a lot and I talk to him quite a lot. Yeah. So yeah. That came from nowhere, that one.
Sorry.
Not at all. Yeah, I get a bit emotional. I'm an emotional guy. You know? And I believe in exploring your emotions. Because you can't push yourself beyond your limits unless you explore who and what you are.
I'm learning that these days.
You know? I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. So yeah.
Back to your training then. Sorry for the curveball.
No problem.
Your morning routine or your training in the week, because you're saying keep the belly up.
I train every day.
Every day, yeah.
When I was a competitor, I trained 3 times a day. I trained from 6:15 to 7:15 in the morning. Then I trained, I went straight up to the sports centre after the dojang in Bathgate. And I trained there, running machine. I'd hit 5k. Under 20 minutes, around about the 19-minute mark for me was very, very tough to get there. And into the gym and circuit weights. And I trained with a guy called Elliot Bunny, or beside Elliot. Elliot Bunny was an Olympian, isn't an Olympian. He was the Bathgate Bullet, fastest Scottish runner. He he was part of the 1988 4x100 metre relay team. Silver medal with Linford Christie and so on. Elliot Bunny was, he was great, tremendous guy, really nice guy. I'm sure he'll probably never hear this, but he was a really, really nice guy. So trained with him and his girlfriend at that time was also a 400 metre runner. But they were heading to the Olympics in the 88, which we couldn't go to as taekwondos because we were ITF and not WTF. So anyway, I trained damn hard. And at night we trained in Bathgate. So 3 times a day I trained. And at weekend we had squad trainings on, we had team trainings on, and this, that, and next thing. So I trained an average of 18 to 21, 22 times a week back then. But now I still train every single day. You know, so my routine in the mornings, I'm up here. I train in the morning myself or with my sons, and classes and so on at night. Martial fit program. I've got a 50-minute express program that'll blow your head off, and I teach that. So I'm also training in that. So I keep myself in the best condition that I can. You don't have to be six-packed. I am. But you don't have to be a six-pack. But what you have to be for your own mentality and your own self-esteem, you have to get on that floor and train. You put your dobok on all the time, or your training kit on all the time.
You don't seem to have any difficulty getting up and doing the training. It's in you. It's part
massive difficulty. But massive difficulty.
Difficult?
Yes.
I don't believe it.
Oh, I'm a lazy swine in my head. I remember when I first started training like that, Grandmaster Son and I lived together. And I remember, just a fuck, get the covers off. I'm not going this morning, back in the day. Fighting myself to get there sort of thing, just, I was a moaning sod, and my youngest boy's a moaning sod as well. But I was moaning all the time, oh God, I'm making get in the cotton basket, was freezing cold, damping around down the walls. I'd have several layers on. Even holding your breath, you could see the breath trickling out your nose, it was that cold in that place. So yeah, I complained all the time. Everything was tough for me to do, but I was too afraid not to. At the end of the day, my fear overcame my laziness. My fear of not being good enough.
Oh,
I was very, very shy.
It wasn't a fear of someone else, it was a fear of...
Oh, a fear of someone else. Yeah, always a fear of not being as good as that guy there or that guy. I was always pick someone there. Gordon Tennant was the first guy to green belt. Heath Derham, who's now a master also, was my competitive rival those early days back then. Fraser Nichol. Fraser Nichol as well. So these were guys I'd go and I'd aspire so I could try and beat all the time. But there was always a fear in me of not being good enough. I wasn't sitting there going, I'm a Rocky warrior, here's my path to victory. No, I just wanted to be the best I could be. My thoughts were, if I train more than everybody else, maybe I'll be half as good. If I train twice or 3 times as much as everybody else, maybe I'll be half as good. So I was a scared young man who didn't have enough confidence in his own talent and ability. So I trained all the hours I possibly could. And that then just became my blueprint to achieve.
Ingrained now.
And it's ingrained. Okay? So I want to make that clear. I was not some absolute warrior who forged a path forward. I did forge my path forward, but it was forged in fear of not being good enough. So I overcompensated.
A lot of people are or have a fear of not being good enough and don't do anything about it.
Yes, and that's the difference. I did something about it. I pushed myself and pushed myself. First time in Bathgate, 1980, I couldn't go through the door. I went back home. So from Bathgate to West Calder, it goes through Stonyburn, sits there. It's an hour's drive. An hour there, an hour back. It was 3 hours on the Wednesday night. Went the following Wednesday, still couldn't go in. The third Wednesday I went down, and every day in between I was crucifying myself. Talking about Catholic guilt, this was even worse. I was crucifying myself, and I barged through the door in Bathgate, that wooden door, burst it open. Everyone just stopped and looked at me. The earth could have swallowed me. I sat at the back for a couple of weeks, couldn't go on the floor, just looked at the floor like that, looking up through my eyes, looking at a guy called John Harrow, did this back kick. I thought, oh my God, he's amazing. He was a green stripe, for God's sake. John Smith, who was a black belt at that time, doing Poon. Oh wow, these guys just, David Engels, Tommy Boyce, Kevin Boyce. Then I realised that Kevin Boyce was a guy that we used to slag at school and push out the way. Kevin Boyce was a Celtic, he was a 2nd degree black belt, hard as nails, breaking bricks. So I learned then that what you thought was tough really wasn't. Typical teenager, 17 years old at that time, and these guys were phenomenal, and these guys inspired me. and I wanted to be like them. Didn't think I could be, so I thought, right, those guys only trained 3 or 4 times a week. I'm going to train maybe 3 or 4 times a day, and maybe I can go one day and be what they are. So it was fear. My training regime and my success were born out of fear. And then when I won my first titles, and then in 1993 I won my first European title. For us, that was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Sheena and I had that goal. She wanted me to be world champion and then assist General Choi on seminars. That was Sheena's dream for me, and that drove Bathgate. That drove Bathgate when we took over. That drove that. That was it. And Sheena was relentless. And then we ended up having so many competitors, great competitors, you know, on the floor. You know, Ian Burgess was the first European champion. I became a European champion. Following on that, Julia Cross and Brent Line became European and world champions. And then Julia Cross went on to have the most successful career of anyone. Phenomenal. A competitor. An absolutely crazy girl. Crazy as in just obsessed as you have to be the very best you can be. And phenomenal what she achieved. As I say, this morning you met Miss Gemma Swinburne, world champion from Master Cross. She's now Master Cross. She wasn't made in here. She was made in South Queensfair under Master Cross. You know, she trains in here sometimes because they've moved through here. And my son, I asked Master Cross a few years ago because my floor had changed and we didn't have that many competitors, so I asked Master Cross to take my son under her wing through in South Queensfair, and I shipped him through there because that's where he could learn best at that time. That's Taekwondo for me. Whether you agree with each other, clash with each other, which we all surely do, still respect the fact that that person's this, that and the next thing. So Bathgate was a phenomenal maker of black belts. Grandmaster Campbell, who you trained under, sir. You know, he was a tremendous competitor. You know, and he was my coach in Groningen when I won my first European title with Grandmaster John, oh goodness me, I know him so well, he's a great guy. So he's a Welsh Grandmaster. So these guys really helped me massively. So help all over the place. You know, so very fortunate.
What's your favourite training? Is it patterns, sparring, or other?
I believe all the training, sparring is easier training. Anybody can spar. To which level you spar, anybody can spar. Not anybody can do pattern. Very few people can do pattern. Very few. And yet the world thinks it's vice versa. Give me a break. Anybody can bloody spar. And if you're a sparrer, then maybe you're a kickboxer. Who knows? You can't be determined by what you do on the floor unless you've got a dobok on. You know? Taekwondo is sparring, patterns, it's street defence, it's breaking, power breaking, special technique. You understand, it's all of these things. It's mindset training, it's everything. So it's not any one thing. You know? So I will training that incorporates fighting, how to fight. That's my favourite training. It's combat training. I really enjoy sparring. It's great fun.
By the smile, it makes me think it's your playtime.
It's playtime. I don't see sparring as a fight. Maybe if I'd seen it as a fight when I was a competitor, I'd been a more successful sparrer. I won many titles in sparring, but not the European and world titles. But I was certainly gifted enough, looking back on it, but I didn't see it like that. I really didn't. And I didn't have as much joy at it as I did pattern. I watched 2 guys walk on the floor in Meadowbank in 1981. 2 Koreans that did one-step sparring. Now I had just seen Kim Stones, a phenomenal TGB sparrer. It was ITF at that time. Kenny Walton, phenomenal sparrer. This was not a Scottish Championships like a normal one. There was Koreans, there was Pat Jung-soo and all these great masters up there. Riki Ha was a 7th grade at the time. Just got his 8th, I think. And these Koreans blew everybody away by doing one step. So that changed my mindset. I didn't love the spar. I loved watching the sparring, and then that was so much better than the sparring. Because what they were absolute phenomenal martial artists. So from that day, my mind was rooted in the martial art being what I wanted to do. Not any one thing. 1988, I went to Canada, and I refused to do pattern. I was a young guy, I just thought sparring was the thing.
Right.
I'd got in the mindset of I remember some saying, those who can't do sparring do pattern.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like garbage.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Most people can't do pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Most people can't go on that floor and have the power, the speed that you should have in every movement. Most people can't do middle section side kick and hold, let alone high section side kick. Or kick high side kick here, high turning kick here, or go side kick to reverse turning kick, do sang bang check. People can't do those things. They can't do from here to the high section and be phenomenal at it. Their legs don't have the physical capability, but they can spar. They can spar.
So those who can't do pattern spar.
Those who can't do pattern spar. You can put it any way you want.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, they all have the great things in them.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I look at that floor, I look at those people on the floor, especially fourth degree pattern and above. That's wow. Traditional sparring should be wow. They need to let them hit people like the karate do. Because when Jan Choi first introduced it, we could hit each other, so long as it wasn't vital areas.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be brought back to. Contact all over the place, but the final contact's a vital spot. Not there's no contact, and then the final show is their vital area, but still no contact. Traditional sparring should have contact on it. Should be hitting each other. Should be slaps to the face, hits to the body, show up phenomenal. That's how it should be. So again, we're holding our competitors back. It's too soft and it's far too bouncy. Far too bouncy. Should be knee spring into action. That's explosion, not this stupid down, up, down nonsense. That's very, very slow and just utterly garbage and the laughing stock of the world. The laughing stock of the world.
Yeah.
So again, our seniors are holding people back. Don't talk to me about the biomechanics and the biometrics of this, that and next thing. I didn't join Taekwondo to be a physics student. I don't have to be a physics teacher to know how to fight and how to utilise knee spring properly. I was taught it very well by General Choi, by Grandmaster McCallum, by Grandmaster Sillen, by Grandmaster Ricky Ha. You spring into action. But if it's not very, very fast, is that me? You beg your pardon?
It is you.
One second, excuse me. If it's not very, very fast and explosive, it's not fit for purpose. So unless it's slow motion, pushing motion, or natural motion, where we take that main energy away, every block, punch, kick, thrust and strike in Taekwondo, a high 90 percentile range is trauma based. It is made to destroy you.
Yeah.
So don't give me this down, up in the last wee section and become sharp, utter garbage. So why am I now saying garbage? Because for many, many years we've been trying very, very hard. Yes, it's getting more effective again, but we are robbing our people of the ability to defend themselves when all they do is train down, up, down, down, up, down, rather than the explosiveness. And it should be spring into action. Not, everyone knows this. To teach it, you do it slow. By the time you're yellow into green stripe, you're already exploding. By the time you're black belt, you are phenomenally fast. And if you're not, you're still doing how General Choi taught us this, but he was teaching us how to teach on all the IICs. And when he says no hips, the moment I start this here, I'm rotating. He just says no karate hips, no over rotations. Now people talk about no hips in this. No, it must be full facing. You must be shoulder high. No, not you must be shoulder high. But that's where the punch is coming from. So you're breaking his arm at that height. And guess what? You're also getting your elbow down to protect your ribs from a side kick coming into you. But if you talk only about height, then the mentality of the student is it's all about shapes and positions and not about actual combat. But we're hitting each other. Yeah, but that doesn't work in combat. Yeah, that's the same as telling us that only grappling works, because the Gracies could do it very, 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 very well. And now you've got guys actually running off the cages, the Superman punches knocking people out. Another trained professional fighter, but it doesn't actually work. People knocking people out with reverse turning kicks and axe kicks all over the damn place, as well as every other thing. Depends what your forte is, but don't tell me it doesn't work. And doesn't work on the street. Where are these streets? I thought Glasgow and that was kind of a rough area, but where are these streets in the world where everyone in the street is trained how to fight street? We're all brought up in the streets. Simple. Here's a simple thing. You hit a vital spot, a vital area of someone's body with enough traumatic force. I don't give a flying damn if you're a trainer, not trainer, if you're a karate guy, taekwondo guy. It works. It works. That, to my throat, will kill me. Thumb through the eye sockets will blind me. Hitting the vagus nerve with enough force will switch my lights out. Pressing kick to the knee laterally will break my knee. Doesn't matter if you call it taekwondo, wear a white pyjamas, Muay Thai shorts on, or your working kick because you come off the building site and you just smack somebody in the knee with your big steel take-out boots. It works. So it is speed and accuracy to a vital area of the body is martial arts in general. That's it. That's it. If you go to Muay Thai, you'll be a better fighter in the street than taekwondo, without a shadow of a doubt, because taekwondo don't teach taekwondo anymore. They teach sport. But if you teach Hosen Sul and train every night in Hosen Sul, again, toughening then that Muay Thai guy also has to be very, very careful, because now you can destroy as well. And it comes down then to circumstance, who's the better fighter, who's the baddest, who can take the most pain, all of the things that are just out there in the ether anyway.
And the mindset.
It all depends who you are, what your background is. If you meet a bunch of Thais, doing kickboxing all their life, Muay Thai all their life. I used to see a programme years ago where the ships had landed in Thailand and so on, the sailors, and they built in the bars, and the huge big sailors over 6 feet tall would go and challenge into the ring, and they would get destroyed because the Thai fighters at 5 feet 2, 3, 4, 5 would just kill them. And when the big guys did hit them, they shook it off and came back in because they're hard as nails. But if you're brought up with a silver spoon, or brought up in the West or in Scotland these days, you know, with all the food you can possibly eat and drink you can possibly drink, and you have a very soft life, then somebody brought up in another area of Scotland who's not brought up that way, brought up very, very rough, and you've got a soft black belt and you've got a very rough, tough young street guy, the rough, tough street guy will kill the soft black belt because the black belt's soft. Not because taekwondo or karate doesn't work, but because they're not fit for purpose up here, and they're not fit for purpose wanting to destroy. And this wee guy coming along here who spends all his time in a rough life, been slapped about all his life, will kill you. It's not taekwondo's fault.
No.
You know? I get a little bit passionate about these things.
No, I
just
can hear
it's
it.
silly to say it.
No,
It really
you're
is.
saying everything.
In my opinion. In my
I'm
opinion.
glad you're saying it because I'm thinking it. What's one basic you're still having to practice because it's maybe not as good as it should, or you feel it's
Flexibility.
Flexibility.
Oh, I'm stiff as a board. So I'm well known for my flexibility these days, I'm told, and my kicking ability. I can do all these things only if I train it every day. So I had a medical procedure done 4 weeks ago, and right now I hate even the thought of stretching. But I have to do it because I get stiff very, very quickly. So you know how I got stiff, how I got flexible? VTR told me how he jumped off the toilet and landed in the tiles and ripped all everything that got him flexible. So I didn't do that.
No.
But my stretching is forced. I learned the difference between good pain and bad pain.
Yeah.
Debilitating pain, dangerous pain, and just are you sore pain?
Yeah.
Breathe, squeeze, push through it. Sweat like crazy, don't give a flying damn. Push through it, push through it, push through it. And I teach it on my websites and this, that, and next thing as well, and that got me flexible from being very, very stiff. Work your backside off. Yes, there are people with short hamstrings and have different physiological problems that means they can't get flexible. That's out there. But the vast majority can, they're just too lazy to do it. Just too lazy to do it.
What's something new you've recently incorporated into your own training practice?
Well, I've been training for such a long time that really, you know, it's all about mindset for me. It's clearing the mind and focusing, being able to compartmentalise as much as possible. So I work on my compartmentalising things because I'm a very emotional guy. As I say, it's been some of the most traumatic times. It's the most traumatic time in the last couple of years that I've encountered in my young life. So being able to breathe and park those things, while I step onto the floor has been the toughest thing. So emotional and mental training. That's the most important thing for me. So that's what I work on most these days, to get me on the floor in the first place. Because sometimes the last thing I want to do is do Taekwondo. You know? So, yeah.
What martial arts or non-Taekwondo training would you like to try?
Oh God almighty. More takedown stuff. I'm not a takedown person. Again, not for the fighting, but just for the understanding of it. You know, Hapkido and so on, you mentioned did that, maybe some things like that. I would certainly give those kind of things a try. But I always wished I was in the military.
Me too.
So I failed the Marines in 1985. Because back then eyesight was a huge thing about it. And when they came back to me about a year and a half later, my path was set in Taekwondo. But that's always been that split in the road. It's a film called Sliding Doors, where it looks at dual lives. What would have happened if in that fought you did this rather than that? And that, I'd love to have been in the Marines. I went on and did that. I must admit, that wasn't to be.
Right, a widely accepted belief or practice in Taekwondo martial arts that you could challenge or would like to challenge. I think you've covered quite a few. But...
Well, the over-exaggerated should be knee spring. You create knee spring you create sine wave by utilising knee spring properly. It's written very clearly. It's the 9 commandments. It's written very, very clearly. Knee spring is not slow. Spring is explosiveness. So yeah, for me it's the biggest. It's destroyed Taekwondo over the years and their credibility, and continues to do so today. Because it's afforded an awful lot of people who really didn't want to train very hard a whole way of demonstrating something very, very slow. And see this, they can do it? No, they can't. No, they can't. And they can be a black belt? No, they can't. Because the vast majority of people don't have the dedication to go blood, sweat and tears and empower themselves way beyond what they thought was possible. So they can't be black belts. So you giving them a certain amount of time and handing them grades does them a massive disservice, personally for them and for Taekwondo and the martial arts in general. It waters it down. So anyone looking at it just thinks, well, I could do it, they can do that. So no, not everyone can be a black belt. Not everyone can be something. Certain things, okay? It needs singular focus, determination, hard work, and the ability to go over a whole load of pain, physical and mental, to be a black belt. So make sure your students have those trials so they're truly proud of themselves. It's nothing to do with kicking high. Okay? Nothing to do with kicking high. But it is to do with that person's journey. From white to black, they should be measurably different in every stage of their life. Okay? There's not a standard for black belt. There's not a standard for yellow belt. There's an understanding of principles. Okay? And a journey that person has came. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. But stop giving black belts away and coloured belts away. Make them work for it.
That brings me on to the next question, probably. Is there a topic or a subject within martial arts, particularly Taekwondo obviously, that's often avoided or considered controversial? Yeah,
it's not just a Korean martial art. It's Japanese, it's like Korea, Japan, you know. General Choi, a Korean, he made it in his image, as it were, and he brought the principles forward. It makes it different from karate. But at the same time, all our patterns have huge sections taken straight from Shotokan. So to make it a Korean martial art, really the patterns would have to be changed to be completely Korean from General Choi, I suppose. And no one could respect General Choi. Well, I couldn't respect him more. I was blessed to have so many times with him. Without him, I just could not respect or feel more gratitude towards him. It's not putting him down in any way whatsoever. We all stand on the shoulders of somebody. And General Choi stood on the shoulders of karate people. So I think it's only fair to, when I in my seminars and say it's Koryo Japan. Yes, it's a Korean martial art, but it's heavily influenced from Japan.
Yeah.
And I think that should be made very, very clear. That way you don't get stupid little boys like me at 17 going, you guys stole that from us when we stole it from you. You know, it's like turning around and saying that only black people had slavery. Everybody did. Yes, it doesn't take away from the horrendous things that people suffered from whatever race. Yeah. But if everyone realised that everyone went through it, and human beings are horrible to other human beings, irrespective of race, creed, colour, religion, we just are. And we find ways to make it terrible. I grew up being spat on for being Catholic. And no, I'm not in any way, before you start saying it, equating me being spat on or punched or slapped to someone who was a slave. Of course I'm not, so go over yourself. I'm just simply putting that human beings find a way, because of the colour in my eyes, the colour in my hair, the height I am, what I like to eat, garlic eaters for God's sake, you've heard that nonsense, from the football team that I support or don't support. They'll just find a way condemning you. Grow a thick skin and understand that it's a human race. You know, if you want to identify yourself because of your Taekwondo, fine. But also embrace karate and everything else as martial artists. Does that make sense?
To me, yes.
So for me, it's in the mix. Throw everyone in the mix and we're all better for being in the mix. But history is massively important. If they taught history properly at school, we would know our Scottish history and we'd be a damn sight closer to being independent. Not because the English are bad, that's stupidness, but because you, to self-govern yourself, to have a government here to look after you, it's far better than to have a government 600 miles away who already got 60 odd million people. So it's not an anti-everything. It's just simply it would be better for us. That would be my opinion. But it's not anti something else. I've got a lot of opinions, sir, as we all should have. But I'm proud of those opinions, and I'm also proud to stand beside those who don't have the same opinions, but have a drive in them to be the best they can possibly be. So that's what I tend to teach on my seminars. I go up there sort of thing, you know, and you know, can't stand you, you've got brown hair. Can't stand you, you've got white skin. Can't stand you, you've got orange skin from Glasgow because you like sunbeds. I can't stand you because of the shoes you wear. Oh, I hate Nike. I hate Adidas. Do you understand? It's just craziness. But how many people go on the floor these days and talk about black, white, brown, green, yellow, short, fat, tall, skinny? They're afraid of all of these things. We can't empower people to be proud of who and what they are, whatever that may be. Transgender. If you believe that you are a man trapped in a woman's body and vice versa, and you want to identify as something, all power to you. Because I don't walk in and ask you what you are. You haven't asked my sexuality on this podcast. We don't do that. We weren't brought up doing that. I look like a man, call me a man. If I'm not a man, or identify as something else, all power to you. But don't condemn me because I thought this, or I thought that. You know? If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, I think it's a duck. If it's not, I just got it wrong. I'm not a bad person for getting it wrong. So we've got to grow a thick skin. You know? If someone goes out of the way to insult someone, spend less time with that person and try minimising it about your life best you possibly can. But don't scream and shout at them and try and get them arrested. Unless they're physically. You understand? There's things that you should be arrested for. Thoughts are not one of them.
No, and opinions.
And opinions are not one of them. And you being insulted by my opinion doesn't make you right or wrong, or me right or wrong. And it gives you no right at all to scream and shout at me or tell me I'm this, that and the next thing. Just don't talk to me. I won't talk to you. Do you know if that's the case?
Absolutely.
Or we can talk to each other and respect the fact that I think this and you think that. That would be the best thing. So in a CUBS programme, 36-year-olds, we don't tell them to go and tell the teacher. We tell them to go and find somebody else to play with. Because at this point, the wee boy or girl who's been nasty to them, they're hurting. There's something's wrong. So if they can't find a nice way to speak, find somebody else to play with. If they persist and come in and get physical, then go and find the teacher of the school. But don't just go and tell. If you tell, you have no other option. And we drill that in. But first and foremost, understand that emotionally, mentally, that wee boy or girl is hurting. Because you're only mean when you're hurting. You're not mean on Christmas morning. You're not mean on your birthday because you're getting cake and presents and so on. You know, you're not mean on a Saturday morning getting up out of your bed, but you might be mean on Monday morning for school. There's reasons why you're mean. So understand that the problem is theirs, not yours, so you're not a victim. So that's my training programme from 3 to 6 and from 66 to 76. Don't make ourselves victims. Live and let live. Understand people feel differently. Respect what they feel, respect what they think. No matter how wahoo it might sound, Earth is flat. Really? I don't think it is. Then again, I've not been in space myself, but I don't think it is. I think it's round. I'll go by the general it's round. But if you believe it's flat, all power to you. It doesn't affect me. On you go. And I don't know who said this, but I use it quite regularly, so I should know who said it. And it's not verbatim because I don't know the quote exactly. But for me, the way to live and let live, being democratic, is someone standing beside me, screaming at the top of their lungs, everything that I would spend a lifetime fighting against. And they're standing beside me, shouting and bawling it. Could be anti-gay, could be anti-Catholic, could be anti-God knows what. That I find abhorrent. But they have a right to say what they feel at the top of their lungs. So I respect their right to do so. If they respect my right in the same ways, we don't have war. We don't have conflict. We just have difference of opinion. I'm not insulted by what you've said. Why would I be? It's just your thoughts. Your thoughts don't affect me. You know? If you want to really, again, with Sylvester Stallone, and this is why I'm eccentric, but Patrick Swayze, he was a very smart man. He was in Roadhouse. And when they said, but what if someone calls my mother a bum bum bum? And he said, well, is she? Because at the end of the day, it's just, you see two nouns that, used to, they're trying to get a rise out of you. They're trying to pull your strings. Don't be so weak. Cut the strings. Cut the strings. So if you want to learn about life, watch Rocky and Roadhouse in your phone.
That's it. That's the solution. Can you share a mistake or a failure that taught you a valuable lesson?
I've got so many. They all did. They all did. They all did. Yeah, they all did. I teach it. That's what failure is the first attempt in learning, isn't it? I got that from the internet, by the way. FAIL, first attempt in learning. I thought that was magnificent. When you learn that obstacles are not only are there to help you, they're put in your path to help you. Yes, there's some that crush your spirit and crush your soul. Losing a parent, losing a child, and all these kind of things. Very hard to think, how can that help me? So, I'm not wise enough yet to know what those answers are. But I'm certainly wise enough to know that everyday obstacles are there for you to overcome and feel better about yourself. I know that. Because they do. Teach that to my students all the time. So, yeah, all my failures just taught me to step up and to grow, to overcome it and be a stronger, better person. So who no longer fails at that. I failed at it before, I no longer fail at that now. So what's next? Now it's time to fail at that, to grow and overcome that. Great, what's the next one? Sometimes give yourself a break. Go on holiday, breathe a little bit. But all these obstacles, use them to empower yourself. So if you're asking if there's any one, I can't really think of any one in particular, other than losing the world title. Because I've seen it as losing the world championships in 1987. I didn't become individual world champion, and I had no doubt that was going to be. I had no doubt I was the best to be. That was more than good enough to be, and that should have been. But judges saw it differently. It was my last time trying. So I lost in 3 world championships, and that was very hard to take. Very, very hard to take. But so that overcoming that failure helps me to teach my students about the failures that they're to overcome, because it broke my heart not being world champion in 97, in 94, and again in 97. It really did break my heart. But I'm massively proud of the tournament career that I had and the things that it taught me. But overcoming that was massive for me. That was the biggest obstacle to overcome, was the reality that I wasn't world champion. So yeah.
But certainly the next question was, how can others learn from your experience?
By me being open enough and honest enough to talk about it. If I'm not open enough and honest enough to bare my soul, I think you've seen by this interview, I'm pretty eccentric. I jump from one thing to the next. I quote Patrick Swayze in Rocky, not always Confucius. I've got a sign above my mirrors that say "Get It Done," which comes from John Wayne. I'm a big John Wayne fan. And back in the day, it was "Get It Done" Red. It's a John Wayne film with Maureen O'Hara, the great, wonderful Maureen O'Hara. My favourite film is A Quiet Man. John Wayne, right through the whole thing. You know, the Clint Eastwood thing is, Make My Day, and Schwarzenegger is I'll Be Back. Well, John Wayne during that film was always right through it. He didn't say it so much. It's another actor, but the whole thing through it was get it done. Because when it comes down to it, just shut up and get it done. It doesn't matter what it is. Confucius couldn't have put it any better. There's 1,000 sayings I could have put up there in nice Chinese and Korean calligraphy, but just shut up and get it done. I left the shut up bit out, but I should have put it in. Just get it done. Hey, you feel better, get it done. Whatever the case might be. You've been running for too long. It's grown into a massive thing in your brain. Just turn around, take a deep breath, gulp, exhale, and get it done. So for me, that's it.
Love it. A pivotal moment in your life or career that took you off the beaten path. How did it shape your journey?
I've stuck on the beaten path since Taekwondo 43 years ago. When I lost the World Championships and I stopped training in Bathgate. It was a big upheaval for me. So for the next couple of years, don't even know Gerald Troy was dead till a few months after he was dead. There wasn't internet and all that back then, so I wasn't in touch with how the Taekwondoists properly. My head was just down, and I was doing my own training, but I wasn't involved in anything at all. Then I found my way back. Reconciled everything, found my way back. You know, this place was taken over, and in 2003 my daughter was born, opened this place, and that was it. But I had a very short hiatus. Hadn't left, but I'd left the world of Taekwondo.
Yeah.
But it was still here and I was still training it on my own. You know, so yeah.
Have you ever faced a situation where your values clash with your professional expectations?
Yes. They tell me I can't go and teach people that are not in my group. No, I will. No, I will. You want to expel me, you expel me. It's wrong. You shouldn't have it in. I've asked many times it should be removed. It doesn't get removed, and then people write things like, you know, this is not the time to be in other people's dojangs, and this is not the time to be mixing here. There is never not a time to mix. There's never not a time to travel and be with other people. I didn't need General Choi to teach me, as it does in the manual, to teach Taekwondo irrespective of race, creed, colour, ideology. My mother and father taught me that growing up. You know? My mother and father taught me that the Pakistani shop at the top of the road, you know, what we called at that time, Pakistani shop or Paki. Well, Paki for me was short for Pakistani. It's now the P word. I respect that, so I will not say that. If I'm told then I will not say that. I've been called a Scot, short for Scotty or Scotch, short for Scotland. I just thought it was the same way. My mother and father taught me that no one, you're defined by your actions, not by being Protestant or Catholic. And then later on, colour never really came into it for us because everyone was white. The only difference would be maybe the Pakistani shop at the top of the road. So my father taught me, quite simple, did you realise that every other shop is shut and they're still open? And I said, I believe they send money back home to Pakistan. That's what you call family. That's true family. That's true character. You know, my father worked all his life. So as far as he was concerned, as far as we were concerned, as far as anybody that I knew in my circle were concerned, that Pakistani shop was open all the hours God sent, thank God. So they were massively respected for that. But I'd call it the Paki shop because that was short for Pakistani for me.
That's how we called it.
It wasn't meant for me to put those people down.
No.
But guess what? I would slag someone's skin colour, like I would slag your hair colour, or your eye colour, or the fact you had a funny walk, or the fact that you wore crazy shorts that looked ridiculous on you. Do you understand? Scottish mentality is to slag each other.
Yeah.
And to pick things to slag, and you were a daub, and a daub means dirty orange bastard. That's what a daub meant. Remember that? Wasn't date of birth. And I was called a fenian, a dirty wee fenian bastard. You know, and a pape. And Catholic. It wasn't Catholic, it was Catholic. And they were produce.
Yeah.
And there was times when confronted by people, especially during the marching season, and they say, what school do you go to? I'd say Parkhead Primary. I didn't, I went to St Mary's. But if I said St Mary's, I got a kicking.
Yeah.
So that's how I was brought up. So your skin colour was no different from being a Rangers supporter or a Celtic supporter. It wasn't about your skin colour. I didn't think you were fair because you just used to get something out of a rise out of somebody. Now, we never spoke about skin colour with the Pakistani boys and girls because none of them came to my school. So I never used that as a slagging term. I only used it as shop for the Pakistani shop. Why was it not just the corner shop? There was loads of corner shops. If I look across the road and there's a brown guy and a black guy and a white guy, my natural instinct would say, first thing I'd go by, the white guy, the black guy, the brown guy. That'd be my first thing, because skin colour's the most obvious thing to me.
Differentiates them.
So I had to ask a wonderful guy and a great Taekwondo master called Thomas Dennis.
Oh, yeah.
So Master Thomas Dennis in London, I said to him, we were great friends, we love Michael Jordan and the Bulls. So I remember saying to him, Thomas, go and educate me. We're sitting in the bleachers once. What? It's coloured. No, Matt, don't call me coloured. We're all coloured. Remember him saying, you're not really exactly white, are you? But we just call you white. I said, no, that's what my point. He said, but no, don't go brown and dark brown and black and just say black. So from that point on, I was educated in what he would rather say. So, out of respect for him, I just said black.
Yeah.
He would say white, but he would say, you know, and remember Stephen would slag me and go, well, you try to do that jump, you white guys can't jump, you must be kidding me on, white guys can't do that, white guys can't do that, so we laugh. You know, and I say to Steph, you're not exactly a black guy, you've got tan lines. He would show me his tan lines. So we all laugh. That's the world I want to be in. That's the world that I want to be in. And they say, you must be dead tight, you're Scottish. All the Scots are tight.
Yeah.
When they spend a penny, you Scots guys. I think that's funny. You know, it's not true, I spend too much money. But I know quite a few tight Scots, by the way. You understand? So, sir, I'm just elaborating at the fact that the fact of the matter is, we all slag each other. We all slag each other. There's two words I was taught never to say. One was Christ, because it's taking our Lord's name in vain, and that was a massive, most important. And the other word next to that was the N word. My father taught me never to say that word. He also taught me to have my crucifix inside my shirt, not outside some kind of statement against somebody else. It was a statement for Jesus Christ. So it was inside, not outside. This is what I was taught. I came home once with a badge from a Celtic game that said, God bless the IRA and the Pope. And my dad gave me a slap, took it off my top and says, look at that. God bless the IRA and the Pope. And he educated me. The Irish Republican Army were freedom fighters back in the day. Things are a little bit different now and all these kind of things. Our belief is this, but we don't walk about with badges.
No.
They say all these kind of things. We be respectful. So I was raised well, in my opinion. I was raised well. But I think all these things I'm saying in the podcast right now, I'm sure someone's going to say, that's terrible that he said that. If you think it's terrible, I respect the fact you think it's terrible. Talk to me about it. But don't just condemn me as being a bigot against some kind of religion, or being a racist against some kind of people, or being a whatever else. Because there's not a bit in my body that thinks in any way that I am superior for anything other than action or inaction. And it's not about being superior, it's more about being inferior. So I hope that comes across properly. Because by talking about it, you open up.
Yeah, discussion.
And I think you should discuss.
How has Taekwondo evolved over time, and how do you keep up with it?
I don't think it has evolved. It's devolved in general terms. Although there's people better now than ever before. But the average standard is lower. And we can make those changes. I know I grew up in fantastic Taekwondo schools and fantastic Taekwondo people. In fact, I'm surrounded by them. And next week when I go to European Championships, I'll be surrounded by fantastic athletes who can do things that I can't do. But in general terms, it's not evolved. And we need to change that. And we can only change that by getting out there, getting together more, training harder, and being real with each other. You hit me, I hit you. You know, we work on things, we make contact with each other, and we rejoice in each other, and we respect each other. But we come together to train hard, to sweat hard, and to train hard, and to push each other beyond our limits, and to get to that place where we can't go, because that's real training.
Yeah. Your online training hub is next, Martial Fit.
My online training hub is fantastic. I love it because it takes you from a fit for purpose syllabus from 10th cup to 6th degree black belt. I've not seen anything like it, and it took me a year with my son, Mr. Lovin, to do it, to film it, and I filmed every kick, punch, block, strike, in Taekwondo, and put it on in videos 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, 1.5 minutes long. How to stretch, how to kick, how to punch, strike, block and thrust, how to work in the patterns, the mindset behind it, everything. It's all there. I'm very, very proud of it.
I'll definitely put the link for folk to have a look at. Look
Yeah,
at the sign
most
up.
welcome.
You get there's a pass on there? Do you get a trial?
Yeah, online training free for a week, and you can train online. I teach people in New Zealand and teach people in Australia as well as England and so on online, and they can get free access. They can get access, not free access. They get access to my hub also. It's a monthly fee, and they've got every video they could possibly wish to explain everything, and if not, they can just contact me and I'll explain it to them. So it's just having students all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went onto it the other day and I saw your main video, and actually some people might say, I think I said this to you earlier, you kind of very enthusiastic and very not in your face. I wouldn't say that, but you're very enthusiastic on that video, and I wanted, and I still will, I will revisit the website and I will probably sign up. That's how much of an effect you had on it.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
So I'm going to put the link in out. Anybody that's listening and watching, I suggest go and check it out anyway.
Anytime. Anytime.
And I'll put the link in there for everyone.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
What inspired you to create the online hub?
Just that, reaching more people, and again, I want people to be fit for purpose. I want to try and inspire them to really train hard. You should be a physical specimen, to varying different levels depending on many things in our life, but you should certainly be the best you can be. That's my belief.
Are there any pros and cons to learning online, or would you say you can't learn it online? You can.
Face to face is always better.
Yeah.
Interaction with other human beings is always preferable, but this gives us an invaluable tool until that time, and in between those times, you can't beat it. It's phenomenal. You should always take advantage of these things. It doesn't need to replace. Sometimes it does, but in general, face to face, of course, is best. But we can't always get that, but it gives you access right there to answer those things and inspire you on a daily basis in your own dojang, which is at your home or your office space or any space anywhere, becomes your dojang the moment you switch your Taekwondo mind on.
Definitely it held people together, I think, through lockdown.
Yeah,
the feedback I got from what I did. Yeah.
Very much so, very much so.
So it's just an extension of that, really.
It is. And it's done a lot, yeah, it helps people, especially the students on the floor, tremendously, so I'm really proud of it, I must admit.
How does Martial Fit cater to individuals with different challenges?
Well, that's all it does, because every challenge there can be different, and Martial Fit is not bouncing about the place, doesn't need a high degree of flexibility and so on, and many of the exercises are used either against the wall, on the floor, or standing up, depending on what you can actually do, and it's exercises that I used to rehab myself when I was injured, so they can be done by anybody, and they are the Heineken of exercises, because they get to other places you just don't quite reach, and they get there fast. So yeah, people love it. Great results.
That's fantastic. I think I will be signing up.
Great results.
What future developments can we expect from MHF?
Just keep trying the best we can to reach as many people, to inspire as many people as we possibly can, which inspires ourselves, and just help wherever we can. You know, yeah, and as we said, the online technology and the ways we can contact each other these days, we can reach a wider audience. So that's what we hope to do. Yeah.
Next one's legacy and wisdom. What do you hope your legacy will be in the martial arts world, and how you want to be remembered? I really hope
that, apart from intense and big mouth, which I don't think I am big mouthed, I'm vocal on things people ask my opinion about. That's big mouth, and I am big mouthed. I really hope that the people who got to know me would believe that I was a good guy. I would hope they would see that whether I like them or not, whether they like me or not, if I can help, I will. And I hope that the ones who really know me would think that I was a good person who, although I really was direct, at the end of the day there was a lot of kindness there. Because I certainly feel that in my heart. My hope is to help, and I don't have to like you to help me. Yeah, there's a lot of folk we don't like. I have no issue not liking somebody. I'm very comfortable not liking somebody as long as I respect what their goals and intentions are. If I don't respect that, I won't be there. And I won't interact with a person like that for very long, other than hello and goodbye. But if I'm helping you, it's because I really want to see, irrespective of what we clash or not, I want to help. So I hope my legacy is someone who tried to help.
If you could pass down a wisdom to future martial artists, what would it be?
It would just be the best you can be. Try your hardest, and try and communicate at all times. Try and communicate rather than shut up shop. And that's why I think today we're at the worst possible time. Because if you don't agree, then you're anti something. Whereas before, if you don't agree, in general terms, it was a good place to debate. Colleges, universities, for example, all these kind of places. I have teachers who don't want to talk to me. Teachers who don't want to communicate. Come along here, looked at the website, thought it sounded great, come along here, hear how I speak on the floor and think, you can't speak like that in front of children. I've just heard much worse at school during the day. Let's keep things a little bit real. Hey, Four Eyes, hey Specky Four Eyes. And I say, I wore glasses for years, I still do sometimes like mine. I'm Specky Four Eyes too. When someone says that, things I mentioned already. You can't empower without being direct. The key to empowering someone, in my opinion, is, first and foremost, before you go through those trials with them, make sure they realise that you are on their side. So what you're going to say is going to be tough, but I'm on your side. That's the most important thing. So for me, go out there and try and make it happen. Mix. That's that.
We've got a few more. How much time have you got? We've got about 15 minutes more of questions here.
It's 12 o'clock actually. I don't have... Actually, can I just make a quick call?
Sure. Sorry for this.
Not at all.
That was not one, but it doesn't matter too much. Right. What tips do you have for staying mentally strong?
For me, I keep things as simple as I possibly can. I think if you're slagging each other regularly, if you, again, it's the basic Scots mentality to slag each other. We were into putting each other down, condemning each other, and laughing at each other's faults and frailties and so on and so forth, bringing them out and making, it's always like just air everything, as it were, more or less. So for me, it's always this. I train every day, I'm in classes every day. So what I do all the time is we have a good laugh with each other, and I say to each other, we talk about it. We just say, look, if you're wearing glasses, you'd probably be called Specky Four Eyes at some point or something like that. If you've got a wahoo haircut or your hair's up and all the way back, I might call you Flocky Seagulls, that kind of thing from back in the day from this group who was... Do you understand? There's so many different things. I mentioned before about Fenians and Dobbs and so on. You're a Dobbist, you're a Fenian. And we laugh at that kind of thing. And if you watch the interaction, for example, that black rappers have, they can call each other it, just others can't. But understand that by talking like that, they feel more empowered or whatever the case might actually be. They don't all feel it, but the point for me is that it's communication. Having a thick skin, communicating with each other. Learning the art of communication means that you've got a good chance of knowing when someone's saying something. I can say, I beg your pardon, and it's a genuine, oh, what was that? I beg your pardon. But now I'm just really peeved. I've heard it. I'm just really peeved. It's the tone, isn't it? So better communication skills gives you a more understanding of how someone's actually just saying something. It might sound a bit wahoo, but it came from an innocent place. Or at least you give them an opportunity again to see where it came from, as opposed to let's no talk, let's no mention this, that and next thing. And if a word is actually said, it's immediately taken as being offensive. And just taking it by offence, I just can't be offended. I just see it as your opinion. I've got enough confidence in myself to really just not get bothered by that. So I want to build people's confidence. And that's their mental health.
That sounds like a life skill.
But there's a film called The Accountant with Ben Affleck. And he's an autistic young man. And the way his father does it, who's in the army, is he gets all these experts in to put him under that duress so much, he becomes so accustomed to it. Noises, play loads of loud music, flashing lights a bit, get maybe strobe lights. It's extreme. You don't have to go to that extreme. But if you go along the kind of lines where you know, where you're introducing it more and more and more and more, and you become more used to it, then it doesn't bother you as much. So for me, it's in that banter. Let kids be kids. Let them fix out their own little problems until it gets to a certain stage. It's went a bit too far, but that too far should be then knocking 7 bells at each other. Not, you know, listen, be careful. Remember, that's not nice words. So when you're talking like that, if he's going to say something to you, you got to understand that you got the same back. So hell mend you. Hell mend you. You know, as you sow, so shall you reap. You know, so all these things that they're wonderful corny sayings for a reason, they work. You know, so get out there, get a bit streetwise, slag each other a little bit, you know, take your bumps, take your thumps, take your lumps, and let's get on in life.
Take it on the chin.
Yeah.
For anyone facing health challenges,
yes,
who want to do martial arts, any advice?
Yes. Come and join us, because it'll massively help you. Because number one, we'll understand what it's like to be in pain. We'll understand how tough it is to step on the floor. We'll understand how tough it is to lay yourself bare in front of other people, because that's what martial arts does. You lay yourself bare in front of other people, and the more you do it, the tougher you become, the stronger you become, the less daunting it becomes. So when that person walks through the door, I see in their eyes they're in pain. I see in their body language they're in pain. If a lady walks through the door with a hijab on, I won't go, hi, nice to meet you. I'll say, hi, lovely to meet you. Can we shake hands? Is it okay to shake hands? And she will say, no. And she's so happy that I had the understanding to ask. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
These are the things that set us apart as martial artists, other than just sports people. So if someone's got we've all got mental health issues, every single one of us. Let's not forget that. That's the craziness about it, for God's sake. It's just different times in our life that are more apparent. Yes, some are more prone to them than others. Some are more prone to feeling negative. Some are more prone to really feeling real darkness. That's a fact of life, I do believe that. So come along, we'll help. Because we want to help. So long as you want to help yourself. We can't help if you don't genuinely want to help yourself.
Step through the door.
Yes.
Any tips for mindfulness that can benefit everyone?
It's the same kind of idea. This is all encompassing for me, the same. I understand the questions. People talk these questions all the time, and I say, yeah, but it all comes under, people call it mental health these days. It all comes under self-esteem. God never gave you more than you can handle. Of course he did. Whether you believe in God or not, of course you have more than you can handle. That's what teaches you to handle more. Because it was too much and you failed. And so you step up and try again. And again and again and again. And then you succeed. So now you can handle more than you could the last time. But guess what? There's more coming. That's not a pessimistic view. And for some get a whole lot more through that than others. Do I believe in do it right and right will come back to you? No. I don't. But I do. I believe that by me being kind and that on the floor, others are kind too, and that passes down. But I don't believe that if you are kind, only kind things will happen. Very kind people can live torturous lives and die a terrible death. Very nasty people can be very successful their entire life and live a life of luxury and privilege. But they've only been cutthroat and nasty all their life. Is there a price to be paid in the next life? I highly doubt it. But I don't know. I haven't been to the next life yet. I just think that we as individuals should look to be the best that we can be the strongest we can be, and to always look. And looking down is only to help people up. Again, another internet saying, I thought it was quite cool. You know, help people. But make sure they're helping themselves. Because handouts don't make people better. They make them weaker.
It goes back to the saying about
make them
teaching
weaker.
them how to fish.
Exactly correct. Don't, hand somebody a glass of water. They don't have any water in the place, or bully water or whatever else. If you can, educate them to dig wells so they've got it for themselves. Make them self-sufficient. And if you're self-sufficient at that time and they're not, help them to be. It's just like someone helped you before. Because I wasn't self-sufficient growing up. Parents helped me, relatives helped me, friends helped me. But of course I had to help myself. I had to push through the door. Lead a horse to water, can't you? Can't make it drink. These are all the sayings we grew up with, didn't we?
Yeah, long forgotten, I think.
Yes. Yeah, well, I bring them back and the kids laugh at me and see all these things.
That's what we're here for. The final question. Martial arts in education. What impact do you believe the reinstatement of martial arts in PE or GCSEs will have on students, and will it encourage them to take?
I believe that martial arts for the young and conscription for the slightly older would be massive benefit in this world. A massive benefit in this world. There is absolutely no doubt that sport on its own doesn't teach what martial arts does, or what conscription does a year in the army. It stands people into very, very good stead. A year in the forces, a year of service. I think the word is service, because martial arts students serve. You know, that's why I call my junior program Samurai, because samurai means to serve. That's the meaning of samurai. Obviously, they're also the coolest in the warriors in the world in history ever. And it's also, for me, a little homage to the Korean part of our martial art, the Japanese part influencing our martial art that I call it samurai. Because I've been asked that question many times. How do you say samurai? It's Japanese. So is Taekwondo, to a small effect. I always love the mentality that, quite simply put, education, knowledge is power. Now that education, I can't do trigonometry, geometry, physics, you know, all these. I don't understand how a letter can be in my numbers and add to something. I'm thick. I am. When it comes to education, I'm thick. Higher education, school education, no. You know, very good at history, good at English, these kind of things, geography and so on. But it came to maths and it came to physics and so on and so forth. Thick as two short planks. But the education I'm talking about is life skills education. Thank God we've got people who are not thick like me, and we've got wonderful things like the cars and the ships and the planes and all sorts of things, you know. Put me back into King Arthur's court, I couldn't explain to them how things work. But I can communicate. I can verbalise, I can quantify, I can articulate, and I can talk to people. If I couldn't, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, I wouldn't be asked for the seminars, I wouldn't be asked to come back for the seminars. So I look to inspire as best I can through my own story of being shy, of being very stiff, physically not that gifted when I kicked out, only to find out I did have a skill level going forward through hard work that brought that out. But without the hard work, it would never have brought it out, because my skill level was hidden under many layers of stiffness and shyness and emotionally, mentally and physical ailments that were holding me back. I overcame them. Those are the obstacles that I help people overcome now.
And that was the age of 17, and
Yes.
that's the same as me. So for anyone around about the same age, 17 right now, or teenagers, or people going through tough times.
Things don't come to you at sweet 16 or an 18 or a 21 or a 25 or a 30 or all the birthdays we celebrate to put passages in life. That's you 18, now you're this. That's you 25, you're this, you're 21. No, they don't come. We have to pull them out of ourselves. We have to search for them, we have to work for them, we have to strive for them. They're not made. They're not given. They're not given, they are earned. So the single biggest thing, pay your dues. I'm 60 this year, I'm still paying my dues. I'm proud to do so. Because I know by paying my dues, I'll continue to mature and I'll continue to evolve. When I stop paying my dues, I stop evolving. General Choi made me sit my 5th degree in 1999. I had been black belt for a 4th degree for 9 years, nearly 10 years. I went to a seminar in Dublin, IIC in Dublin, 25th of October, it's my birthday in 1999, 23rd to 25th. With David Murphy, who was sitting his 5th degree at the time, and I'd helped him, I'd helped others, but I was still in the 4th. When I arrived, Grandmaster Mark Hutton came up to me and says, "Good to see you, I heard your grading." Long story short, I tried to convince him I wasn't. Next thing, Grandmaster Chijun came up to me. "Mark, lovely to see you." I said, "It's great to see you." Before I could say it, he went, "I'm happy you're grading, I'm taking the grading, you better be ready." I tried to explain that I wasn't, then he got very angry with me, snapped at me, put me in my place. General Choi said, "You're grading, are you genuine?" "Oh shoot, no, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir." And on the Sunday, he gave the toughest grading of my life. It was absolutely knocked down stuff on the floor, knocking 7 bells at each other, all the way through it, buckled and thrown out, battered over stuff all over the place. Many failed, I was successful, brilliant. And General Choi said to me, a very short time afterwards, he says to me, if you're static, your students will be static, your life becomes static. You must continue to set your goals, to evolve, to pay your dues. So that's what you must do. Don't stop. Keep moving. And I also heard it was the guy Disney. It was keep moving forward, was what he would always say. Keep moving forward. Doesn't mean you're all successful, but you keep moving forward. So sitting at the same grade doesn't do you any good. No. But just getting it because of time, that's not achieving something. I take a year in my gradings to prepare, especially 7th and 8th degree, a full year beforehand, to go on that floor, to be the very best mental and physical shape I can, to evolve to the next level, to mature to the next level. That's what gradings are for. So don't sit back at 5th degree saying, I really should be 7th. No, you shouldn't. And other people calling you master, and you're allowing them. You're wrong, and they're totally wrong. You pay your dues, you put your time in, you get in front of people that you respect, and they grade you. If you're successful, then you grade. Being a 5th degree for 10 years means nothing. I was 4th degree for 9 years. Doesn't mean to say I should have been 6th. No, I shouldn't. Time is nothing. Time is nothing without the work and the effort and the mileage in that time. Then it becomes something. On its own, it's nothing. But sit in this chair in 10 years' time, I'll be at 9th degree. No. Go off your backside and work hard. And you'll feel better about yourself. You'll be able to inspire others. You'll inspire yourself. And that's why I'm too afraid to sit down. Sit in a seat all the time. I'll stagnate. I'll regress. I'll de-evolve.
Yeah.
You know? So, keep moving forward. Alright, sir?
That has been amazing.
Well, I'm sure it's me mouthing off for a few
Doesn't matter.
hours.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you, boss.